You shall not commit adultery. What is this word? If you're an adult, you will most likely understand. But if you're a kid, well, unless you're like corrupted, you would have no idea what that means. So if you're a kid, skip to a later part of the video. For adults, we'll just keep on watching. According to Merriam-Webster, it's voluntary sexual intercourse between a married person and someone other than that person's current spouse or partner. Basically cheating on your partner. How you cheat on that partner? Well, not to discuss that. Right now, we're just going to have to talk about how we can uphold this commandment. And first of all, let me just start off with a joke about the seventh commandment. You shall not commit adultery. So Moses just came down from the mountain and said, I have good news, ding ding, and bad news. The good news is, I got him down to 10. But the bad news is, adultery stays. Now, why is this here anyway? Well, here's the thing. Adultery is here because according to the relationship is that it's against the moral way or moral or ethical idea of human intercourse. Because if a society wants to thrive, you need a family. Well, families technically. But you always start with the first family, with one family. And if that family cheats on another family, you will end up with the fact that there's a kid who no one wants. Well, usually there's a kid. Nowadays with technology that can prevent that from happening, even if you have did this. But back then, that wasn't even possible. So, again, we're going to go back to the question, why is this even here? Well, most people actually assume it's because of the fact that it damages the other partner's emotional feelings. And possibly even it's also like breaking those marriage vows they made when they were married. And now adultery doesn't come with an asterisk that says, unless given permission from the other partner. Because it's not just for the emotional pain that this commandment is here, but because of the pain of the possible child that could exist from the fact of adultery. It's raising. Like, there could be a kid because of this action. And then, because of this action, this kid has no mom and dad to actually call their own, because that should even be possible. Back in the days of basically Moses, marriage was basically something that was considered unbreakable. And if it was broken, it was considered that, it was considered that the women were basically the people with no rights. So it's also, this commandment is here to also prevent the emotional pain that could happen from committing adultery, but also the upbringing of the possible child that could exist because of this action, which is why it's considered sinful. From now on, it's basically for kids younger than 10. Now, we all know the story about Moses. He, led all the people out, led all the slaves out of Egypt, and then he commanded magic to actually drown the Pharaoh and everyone else that was following the Pharaoh. He climbed the mountain, to stay there for 40-something days and nights. God basically gave him a list of 10 commandments to talk about and teach everyone else in this religion of the one true God. And the one we're talking about now is the 7th commandment. You shall not commit adultery. Now, if you're just going to simplify it, it's actually going to boil down into this. If you're married, it basically means don't break your promises. You probably will understand what it truly means when you're an adult. But when it comes to you being a kid and trying to understand this commandment during Sunday school or whatever, all you basically have to know is not break any promises. Don't break promises you make with someone else. Maybe if you want to become a mom or a dad, and don't break the promise you did with the other dad or the other mom. Because if you do, there could be the creation of a new baby, and then that baby, would have literally no mom or dad to raise it properly, like a true mom and dad would. So if you're basically a kid right now, and what can you do to actually uphold this commandment? Well, you haven't married someone yet if you're still a kid, unless you're in the olden days, if you're from the olden days. But since you aren't married yet, all you can do is basically just try ahead and not to break any promises that could go ahead and create some emotional pain to the people you love or the friends that you have. And that's basically it. That's basically what adultery means. Hope you guys enjoyed that episode. And yeah, I actually split this episode into 2 parts, one for kids, one for adults that are most likely over 18 or somewhere between my age. I probably shouldn't even know what this means yet, but that's all you have to do. For kids, just don't break your promises. Bye.